Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another hard-hitting episode of the Callous Mind Talking Head Sports Cast with yours truly, Callous Mind. In this week's episode, we're talking 2022 NFL Week 4 picks and NFL Week 3 pick results, and I'll just give you a preview. They were terrible. Before I go any further with this video, I do want to state that this content is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised because I will be using expletives this week to describe the performances of the Arizona Cardinals and the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, so NFL Week 3 really fucked me over hard, and I'll get to the wins and losses here in a minute. I'll just go ahead and start with the record, though. It was 6 wins and 10 losses, so horrible picking. But I'm really pissed off at the Raiders this week, and I cannot believe that with all the money they've spent, they are now 0-3 on the season. You know, I heard the announcers talking about, how the Raiders controlled the second half of the game against the Titans. But the reality is, if you give up an insurmountable lead in the first half, then it doesn't matter what you do in the second half because you've dug yourself such a hole that you're not climbing out of the motherfucker. And it's the same way with the Cardinals. They start the game, hopes are high, and then they get 10 points behind, 14 points behind. They just keep getting behind, and you think, okay, well, when are they going to start digging themselves out? But it doesn't matter because you need a backhoe to dig yourself out of a fucking hole like that. So the solution? Stop digging yourself into a fucking hole! Stop digging! And while I'm ranting, I also want to talk about the Colts and Panthers. They continue to haunt me. When I pick them to win, they lose. When I pick them to lose, they win. The Colts beating the Chiefs is about the most unlikely thing you'll see in the NFL, or it's probably the most unlikely thing we've seen so far this season is more like it, because we routinely see things like that in the NFL. Now, before I continue with my football chatter, I have a couple of public service announcements. One is, I wanted to let everyone know that my videos are also available on Rumble. So if I ever get banned here, or you're a subscriber on YouTube and you're not receiving the notifications, maybe I'm shadow banned, whatever, just know that you can find my videos on Rumble or on callousmind.com. And the second public service announcement I have is regarding voting in the upcoming election. I am pleading with people who fled California for Arizona, please, please, please do not California my Arizona. If you fled bad policies somewhere else, then please don't vote for those same policies here in the great state of Arizona. We appreciate it. All right, so as you can see, Week 3 pick results, 6 wins, 10 losses. The Browns win, the Bears win. Thank you, Chicago Bears. The Raiders lose, once again, digging themselves into a hole that they could not dig out of, or turning the ball over in the red zone. Derek Carr, I'm talking to you. Got to knock this shit off and got to score points and hold the damn lead. Chiefs lost. That was really unexpected to me. The Bills lose to the Miami Dolphins. Maybe this is Miami's year. I want to take a look at the standings in this video before I make next week's picks. But I got to tell you, Miami looks like they're a pretty serious contender in the AFC East this early. But we'll see. Patriots lose, and I think they did lose Mac Jones in that game. So it only gets more difficult for the Patriots going forward. The Bengals finally get a win. The Eagles win. They keep on winning. And this may be the Eagles' year to win that NFC East. I don't know, man. Looking good. Looking good. Chargers lose. Wow. That was pretty surprising to me. Once again, the Cardinals lost to the Rams. That's not a huge surprise. I believe I said that in last week's video that the Cardinals would most likely lose that game, but I was going to pick them anyway because, you know, what they say, the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while, but apparently not when it comes to the Cardinals playing the Rams. Seahawks lose. Man, really? You know, the Bucks lose? Kind of got bitch slapped, you know? And then the 49ers lose to Russell Wilson, the Broncos, on Sunday Night Football, 11-10. I mean, seriously? You couldn't muster another field goal and win 13-11 or something? I mean, goddamn, there's more runs scored in baseball games than there were points scored in that football game. And the Cowboys, with a backup quarterback, keep on rolling on Monday Night Football. So it's looking like the NFC East is going to come down to the Cowboys and the fly Eagles. All right, so I know it's a little early in the season to be looking at the standings yet, but I'm always curious. So I figured in this video we'd go ahead and do a view of the standings anyway. And if you look right here, the Miami Dolphins are doing pretty well. They're 3-0, and they are first place in the AFC East. Having said that, I think the AFC East is going to come down to the Miami Dolphins and Buffalo Bills. If you'd asked me before the season who I thought was going to win it, I would have said the Buffalo Bills, but it looks like Miami is serious, and they're going to be a serious contender, so we'll see how things shape up. AFC North, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens lead the way. AFC South, man, raise your hand if you had the Jacksonville Jaguars in first place after week 3 of the 2022 NFL season. I know I didn't, but I'm sure that the Jacksonville owner, coaching staff, players are all pleasantly surprised. And you know what? Good for them. AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs leading the way. No big surprise there. They are a juggernaut. NFC East, Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys. Philadelphia is 3-0, and the Cowboys are 2-1, along with the Giants. So I think the Eagles and the NFC East will come down to the Eagles and Cowboys, and it'll be whoever wins those interdivisional games between the other is probably going to be the one who wins the NFC East. I think those two teams are clearly the class of the NFC East. NFC North, Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, and Chicago Bears, all there at the top in a three-way tie, 2-1. NFC South, Tampa Bay's leading the way at 2-1. But, I mean, it's only week 3, so, you know, this is just kind of just having fun here looking at the standings. And then NFC West, Los Angeles Rams leading the way, 2-1, while the remainder of the division is 1-2. So this is your post-week 3 look at the 2022 NFL standings. All right, so NFL schedule week 4 picks are as follows. On Thursday Night Football, I'm taking Miami on the road at Cincinnati. I'm not real sure what Cincinnati is this season. And I have a little more faith in the Dolphins and the way they've played. I think they've been a little bit more consistent. So I'll take the Dolphins on the road to beat Cincinnati. And I think this is probably a better time of the year for Miami to be going to Cincinnati and playing before it gets too cold. So next game starts Sunday's NFL schedule. Minnesota at New Orleans. And I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings on the road to defeat the New Orleans Saints. Next game, Cleveland at Atlanta. I think Atlanta is kind of due. And I'm just going to go ahead and pick them because I actually need them to beat the Browns and set the Browns back a little bit because of a bet I have going on with Jason. So this may be a bad pick, which, God, what else would be new? I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons at home to defeat the Cleveland Browns. And then an NFC East matchup, Washington Commanders visit the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Dallas Cowboys, as I've already stated, are probably one of the teams that are the class of the NFC East. So I'm going to take the Cowboys at home to beat those dastardly Washington Commanders. Next game, Seattle at Detroit. Seattle, man, since they played Russell Wilson, they have been a huge letdown after getting that first win. So I'm going to take the Detroit Lions at home to defeat the Seattle Seahawks, if you can believe that. Next game, Tennessee at Indianapolis, an AFC South matchup. I think Tennessee is one of the teams that's going to vie for that crown in the AFC South. So I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans on the road to defeat the Indianapolis Colts. Next game, Chicago at New York. They might be Giants. I picked Chicago this past weekend and they gave me a victory. But the Giants lost to the Cowboys, which I think are just a better team. But I'm not so sure that the Bears are a better team than the Giants. So having said that, I'm going to give the New York Giants the benefit of the doubt since they are at home. And I will take the Giants at home. Jacksonville at Philadelphia. Jacksonville has been playing well. I certainly can attest to that. But once again, I believe in Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, and I will take said Eagles at home to defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next game, New York Jets at Pittsburgh Steelers. You are seeing this selection right. I am taking the Jets on the road to defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the reason here is pretty simple. Mitchell Trubisky as the Pittsburgh quarterback is pretty awful. He was pretty awful as the Bears quarterback. I think he's meant to be a backup and not a starter. And the Jets have been giving people hell, man. So I'm taking the Jets. Next game, Buffalo at Baltimore. A battle for AFC supremacy. And based off Buffalo coming off that loss against the Miami Dolphins, if they were playing somebody else, I would probably pick Buffalo. But I got to tell you what, Lamar Jackson is just playing outstanding. If he can stay healthy, he continues to write himself a huge check come this offseason. I will take the Baltimore Ravens at home to defeat the Buffalo Bills. Next game, Los Angeles Chargers at Houston Texans. The Chargers are kind of coming off of what I would kind of construe as being an embarrassing loss, but either way, I think they'll right the ship this week. We'll see, but I'll take the Chargers on the road to defeat the Houston Texans. Next game, Arizona Cardinals at Carolina Panthers. Two former OU quarterbacks going head-to-head. I like Arizona and Kyler Murray to get the win on the road. However, recent history has not treated these guys well when going into Carolina. But, man, Cardinals, you need to fucking win, and you need it bad. So please, 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 for the love of everything holy and good, win this game. Next game, New England at Green Bay. And I've already said that I think New England is trending down, especially if Mac Jones is hurt. And you're going into the unfriendly confines of Lambeau Field against Aaron Rodgers. So as much as I believe in Bill Belichick's defenses, Aaron Rodgers does have a tendency of extending plays with his feet if he needs to. And I'm just going to take the Packers at home because I think they're a more complete team. So Packers at home against the New England Patriots. Denver at Las Vegas Raiders, AFC West matchup. The Raiders need this game like it's nobody's business. In the division, in everything, they need this win. So I will take the Las Vegas Raiders to right the ship, stop throwing interceptions in the red zone, stop turning the goddamn ball over, and stop giving up huge unsurmountable leads. I'll take the Raiders at home to do all those things and get this win. Next game, Kansas City at Tampa Bay. I don't know if Tampa Bay is what they were in the past. Green Bay kind of stomped a hole in them this past weekend. Having said that, I think Kansas City coming off that loss, they're going to be furious. And so I could totally see Patrick Mahomes going on the road here and just lighting it up in Tampa because they were so mad that they lost to the Colts last weekend. And then finally, on Monday Night Football, we enter October. Yeah. Los Angeles at San Francisco. Oh, let me specify. Sorry. Los Angeles Rams at San Francisco 49ers. I will take the Niners in this, even though they are coming off of a piss poor performance. I didn't really think that the Rams' offensive performance against the Cardinals was anything to write home about if they only scored 20 points. Granted, it was enough to win, but it's not like they're an offensive juggernaut. And San Francisco has had the Rams' number, like at least last season they did, and kind of here in the recent history. With that in mind, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers at home to get live against the Los Angeles Rams. And before I go, I just want to remind everyone that the Fuck Joe Biden coin is available by following the link in the description box below this video, regardless of what platform you are watching this video on. Thank you all so much for taking the time and spending it with me today. Please don't forget to interact with this video by liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, whatever you're so inclined to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, please, please, please be good to yourselves and each other, and I'll talk to you later. God bless.